Despair. Perhaps the strongest of the emotions, despair is in its own complex category of feeling. It's not quite fear, nor sadness or anger. Despair is the feeling of the void. It's the pure and complete absence of hope. It's an absolute lack of control. There's nothing left for you to do. It's been taken out of your hands. That is why it's so powerful. When you're afraid, you can run. When you're angry, you can vent. But when you're feeling despair, genuine hopelessness, there's nothing. You've been taken out of the equation. History and myth tells time and time again of how despair is like a tool of the gods, a punishment cast down on those who have sinned. The Greeks discussed Sisyphus, bound to infinitely roll his boulder up the hill, only for it to roll back down again, and Tantalus, who could never quench his endless thirst or hunger. Among these stories, the most fitting is perhaps the tale of Prometheus, who, having granted humanity the gift of fire, was deemed irredeemable by the Olympians, and was chained to a mountain in the Caucasus. Here Prometheus suffered. Every morning an eagle would come savagely devour his liver, and every night it would grow back. Prometheus was trapped in an endless cycle of suffering. The Titan despaired. Of course, another common trend in these stories is how all of the punished had some reason to be punished. Even Prometheus had willingly defied the gods and knew that a punishment was coming, though perhaps not the severity of it. But what happens when someone is subject to this despair, to this mental agony, despite not deserving it? What would such a person be like? The Twilight Zone, a critically acclaimed television series created by the infamous angry young man of Hollywood, Rod Serling, asks these questions in perhaps its greatest episode. Pause now if you don't want spoilers, and go ahead and watch the episode Time Enough at Last. If you don't mind, let's begin. The episode follows Henry Bemis, a banker described by Serling as a bookish little man. Indeed, Bemis is fascinated by reading, discussing David Copperfield, among other stories and poems throughout the episode. In a cruel twist of fate, Bemis lives in a world where he's ostracized by those around him because of his reading. His wife tears up his poems, and his boss threatens to fire him if he keeps on reading during work. Nevertheless, Bemis continues to read, undeterred by these events. As per usual, Bemis goes to eat his lunch in the bank vault while reading his book and newspaper, from which he learns about an incredibly dangerous new H-bomb. A short while after, the entire vault begins shaking to an unbelievable degree, knocking Bemis out. He awakens to a world ruined by the cruelty of war. His hometown, and all of the land for miles around, has been devastated by the aforementioned H-bomb, leaving only Bemis to cry at the ruins. Everything is gone. The town has been reduced to ashes. And from these ashes rises a changed Bemis, who, like the town around him, has been destroyed. The oh-so-cheerful, undeterred, and generally pleasant Bemis, who had never backed down even when faced with anger and disapproval, finally feels it. Despair. He despairs at the state of the town. He despairs at the mass death and the loss of everyone he ever knew. And alongside this, he despairs at perhaps one of the worst things anyone could ever experience. Bemis is alone.
The very worst part is being alone. Is this how it's going to be? Just sitting around day after day, eating?
He has been abandoned not only by humanity, but now all of the books that he once held so precious are gone too. There is nothing left for him. Stumbling through scorched earth, he finds it. A way out. An unscathed revolver is on the ground, almost like a message being sent from the heavens. But, for perhaps the first time in the story, Bemis has a stroke of luck. Just as he is about to end it all, he sees the ruins of the library in the distance. And even better, all of the books are intact. Dropping the gun, Bemis rushes over to the books, his cheerful demeanor having returned to him. Bursting with excitement, Bemis counts and organizes the books. He is finally happy. He is finally satisfied. he has time enough to read at last. But fate is a cruel mistress, and this is a video on despair. In perhaps one of the greatest and most tragic twists of all of fiction, Henry stumbles, shattering his glasses.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Despair. It's like an invisible burden, like a lock protruding out of your chest that you can't remove. You can't push it away or dismiss it, not because you don't want to, but because there's nothing you can do. In truth, that is what despair really is. It's the inability to function due to the absence of hope. Fear is cruel because it restrains you. Sadness is crueler because it clouds your mind and pains your heart. But despair is cruelest because it does all of that while taking away your own sense of self and personal agency. Henry Bemis did nothing wrong. In fact, the world did him wrong. He was an ordinary man, simply pursuing his passion, a completely harmless person. But the world punishes him over and over and over and over again, and he despairs. Thus is the fate of humanity.